Volvo V60 was launched in 2010, and arguably set the Swedish company on a new design direction that we saw bear fruit with the introduction of the later XC60, XC90 and V and S90 range. This small 5-door estate is in an interesting market position, as it's not commodious, like a traditional family wagon. It's not really a standard hatchback, either, more of a vaguely premium halfway house between the two. With that in mind, we could see it on the same shopping list as the Volkswagen Golf estate, or equally on smaller, premium badged rivals, such as the Audi A3 Sportsback, or Mercedes-Benz A-Class. The Swedish alternative to German posh, so, the Volvo V60 is stylish, well-sized and highly appealing for anyone that doesn't want to go down the mainstream German road. Due to its age, you'll see the quirks inside, maybe you'll like them, maybe you won't, such as the multi-button dashboard and dated infotainment. Still, you can't say it doesn't look good. And Volvo is great at choosing the right trim materials and colors, lending this car a classy look. The instruments are a little on the baffling side, looking cluttered and cheaply styled, a shame, given the rest looks so premium. The Volvo S60 saloon forms the basis of the V60, but the sports wagon is a better looking car. But its appeal isn't merely cosmetic. There's the added advantage of a tailgate at the rear, even if it opens into a boot that's more hatchback than estate-sized. The engine choice is like its German rivals, you can't argue at the V60's sheer range of power units. The petrol choice is a tad limited in its scope, starting with the 2.0-litre turbocharged petrol, boasting 150 horsepower, T3. You can also get that same engine in T4, 180 horsepower, T5, 240 horsepower, and T6, 310 horsepower, forms. 3's also the Polestar, which we'll come to later. Diesel buyers get the choice of a 2.0-litre, offered in 115 horsepower, D2, 150 horsepower, D3, 180 horsepower, D4, and 210 horsepower, D5, all of which are reasonably refined. It goes without saying that the D5 is the most appealing thanks to its prodigious performance. You can also buy your V60 in twin-engine hybrid form, and there are two options here. These cars are based on the charismatic old 2.4-litre 5-cylinder diesel, which ends up making them far more enjoyable to drive than they have any right to be. These are expensive to buy outright, but monthly deals are numerous. You get a choice of 163 and 220 horsepower versions. Not forgetting the Polestar, the V60 Polestar is now in its second iteration. The first one was a charismatic 6-cylinder offering, which was as flawed as it was fun. This was replaced in 2016 by a downsized 2.0-litre version. Don't think for a moment that it's downsized in performance. The twin-engine Polestar packs a turbocharger and supercharger, with hybrid assistance to pack an impressive 370 horsepower. It's a low-key looking Q car, which will appeal to those who want BMW M3 style performance without detracting the attention. The 2016 version came with new 8-speed automatic transmission, 20-inch alloys, a recalibrated 4-wheel drive system, and revised steering. But sheer brute acceleration is what this car is all about. 0 to 62 miles per hour is dispatched in 4.4 seconds. Handling is similarly upgraded, thanks to Öhlins dampers, and some careful fine-tuning of the 4-wheel drive system. In practice it's a point-and-shoot kind of car, and very different to the front-wheel drive cars it's based on. The verdict: the Volvo V60 is getting on in years, and in most measurable ways, is woefully off the pace. And yet, we can't help but like it, thanks to its cool, Swedish interior and quirky choice of unashamedly punchy engines. Would we recommend one? Difficult if you're a keen driver because it's dynamically off the pace. And yet, you can buy some hilariously rapid versions, which continues Volvo's great heritage for making rapid estate cars. Undoubtedly a better buy used rather than new. Read on for the full review of the Volvo V60 estate. You're spoiled for choice with the V60, and although there aren't many variations in engine capacity, there are loads of powertrain options to choose from. 3 diesel engines, 2 petrol units, and 2 hybrids are offered on the V60 lineup, along with the option of auto and manual transmissions on all the diesels. The hybrids are also auto-only, as are the 2 most powerful petrol models. Diesel and hybrid versions. The headline model in the V60 lineup is the D6 twin-engine all-wheel drive model. This uses a 5-cylinder 2.4-liter diesel engine allied to an electric motor. The result is 288 horsepower, 0 to 62 miles per hour acceleration in 6.1 seconds and claimed official CO2 emissions of just 48 grams/km. It can also drive solely on electric power for up to 31 miles. The V60 is also offered with D2, D3, D4 and D5 badged diesel engines. The D2 is a 1.6-liter unit producing 120 horsepower and 62.8 miles per gallon average economy. The D3 and D4 engines share the same 2.0-liter turbodiesel engine, but in 150 horsepower and 190 horsepower states of tune respectively. However, fuel economy, 62.8 miles per gallon, and CO2 emissions, 119 grams/km, are identical. Volvo V60 petrol engines. The petrol lineup starts with the T2, a 1.6-liter unit producing 122 horsepower. This accelerates from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 12.7 seconds and has a top speed of 115 miles per hour. The T3 ups that power to 152 horsepower, and the 0 to 62 miles per hour time drops to 9.6 seconds and 124 miles per hour. The T4, 180 and 190, and T5, 240, models are based on the 2.0-liter turbo unit delivering an impressive 180, 190 and 240 horsepower, combined with a 6-speed manual gearbox or automatic. This is enough for 0 to 62 miles per hour acceleration range of between 9.2 and 7.3 seconds, although the claimed combined fuel economy of between 27 and 38 miles per gallon for the most powerful model makes this a niche choice. Topping the petrol range before the Polestar is the T6, a 4-wheel drive Volvo V60 performance model offering 310 horsepower, 27 miles per gallon combined fuel economy and a maximum speed of 155 miles per hour. Volvo V60 Polestar engine and performance. This is a Volvo estate with launch control. That means the engineers really have taken the issue of Volvo V60 Polestar performance seriously. A press of the brake and throttle simultaneously holds the engine revs at around 3,000 revolutions per minute and optimizes grip off the line for maximum attack. Do it right. It only lasts for 5 seconds, so don't be too tardy in releasing the left pedal, and this lifestyle loader can sprint from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 5 seconds. Admittedly, there's not much drama off the line, thanks mostly to the excellent 4-wheel drive system, but at least the engine provides some oral fascination on the move. If you like your engines old school, then the series of induction, turbo spool and flutter under full throttle will please any inner child. The 2.5-inch diameter active exhaust system, with dual 3.5-inch tailpipes, only adds to the assault on the ears, though the bassy idle never screams so loud as to frighten children or small animals passing by. Polestar's engineers have increased power on the T6 petrol engine from 299 bhp to 345 bhp by adding new twin-scroll turbo and larger intercooler, which also helps achieve the headline 500 Nm of torque, available from 3,000 revolutions per minute. Certainly it feels as quick as all the on-paper figures would suggest, though never in the realms of its German rivals and more AMG-badged cars. Think Audi S4 or BMW 335i though and you'll be on the money. One thing the Polestar V60 misses out on is a manual, or even fast-shifting dual-clutch automatic, gearbox, instead making do with the firm's familiar 6-speed automatic, which is in truth a little old hat now. The race team has had its hands on it though, rewriting some of the software for faster and more decisive shifts, which has worked but not performed miracles. Superseded Volvo V60 models dropped from the range in 2015 was the appealing 5-cylinder 2.4-liter D5 unit, which offered 215 horsepower, 61.4 miles per gallon average fuel economy and CO2 emissions of 120 grams/km. Older versions of the V60 were also offered in 1.6 drive guise, which is essentially the same engine as today's D2 model. Confusingly, pre-2013 V60s also featured a D3 model, but this one produced 165 horsepower. The V60 certainly feels nimble, especially if you're used to more traditional Volvo estate cars of the past. However, even when you adjust the settings to weight the steering and give it more feel, it is still too light and lacks feel. Thanks to the low-slung shape of the V60, there is very little body roll in corners. Take it onto the motorways and this car feels right at home, It is assured and made for cruising at 70 miles per hour. If that description paints a picture of a car that lacks excitement, then that's entirely fair. But it's also fair to say that the V60 doesn't need to be the last word in handling precision. In front-wheel drive form, it's neat and predictable, while in four-wheel drive guys, you can add additional grip and security into the mix. Volvo V60 Polestar handling. The Volvo V60 Polestar handles impressively, thanks to its expensive racing-derived Öhlins adjustable dampers, and springs that are 80% firmer than those found on the T6 the Polestar is based on. Add to that 15% stiffer anti-roll bars, new connecting mounts and bushes, and you have a seriously focused setup. On a billiard table smooth race circuit, or even a glass-flat Swedish road, it all works well. Responses are sharp, and considering this car's near 2-ton curb weight, it offers almost exemplary body control. However, on a typically frostbitten and pockmarked British B road they simply don't. To be completely fair, the damping is well judged, quickly settling in one movement after being upset, but the springs are too stiff. Harsh ride. Great high-speed body control. At low speed the ride is harsh, and even minor surface changes like white lines, especially those with cat's eyes, can be clearly felt from the driver's and passengers' dash seats. Unfortunately, only one spring rate is offered across all markets, and while the dampers offer a series of 20 adjustments, with cars being delivered in the safe middle ground, backing their responses off won't make the right difference here. We're not convinced the V60 Polestar is likely to take part in many track days either, as despite the super grippy 20-inch Michelin Pilot Supersport tires, excellent four-wheel drive system and 6-piston front brakes, it's clear its sheer mass will soon get the better of it. The V60 has a quality feel, and the floating central console stands out as a quirky design touch, even though it was first seen on the S40 in 2004. The Swedes win the top awards when it comes to design and functionality. At first glance the V60 looks rather underwhelming, but look closely and spend your time in it, and the V60 cabin is one of the clearest and most comfortable places. There's a slimline center console fascia, and the front is trimmed in matte carbon fiber, and everything is within easy reach. The central display screen for the sat-nav, stereo and telephone is clear and finely detailed, even if the controller isn't as intuitive as it should be, and the electronic instruments in front of the driver are equally impressive. Polestar upgrades and improvements. In the Polestar, there are new buck suede seats with deeper bolsters and attractive blue stitching. As you'd expect, the seats are incredibly comfortable, though you soon forget they are a sports seat since they aren't as firm as some rival chairs. The new buck makes an appearance on the armrests and steering wheel too, while the gear lever gaiter is stitched in blue to match the seats. Polestar badges appear on the top of the gear lever and briefly flash up on the main information screen on startup, while the pedals are a metal finish. It's a godsend that the Swedish firm can lay claim to offering some of, if not the, best seats in world, otherwise Volvo V60 comfort might fail to impress. The chairs themselves are fantastic, finished in a mixture of leather and nubuck suede, with bright blue stitching and extended bolsters for better support. They're not as hardcore, or as uncomfortable, as some of the sports seats found in its rivals, but all the better for it. Even those occupying the rear bench will feel comfortable in the V60, the seats trimmed in the same fashion as those in the front with plenty of support, legroom and headroom, though you'll struggle to get 3 burly adults sat side by side. One of the biggest gripes we have is that the manual gear selector. It is mounted poorly for drivers who like to sit close to the steering wheel or those of us that like to place bottles in the holders in the central console. There is an upside. If you enjoy to travel in comfort rather than hurtling through a set of challenging bends, then the V60 is the perfect option. More comfort than performance-orientated Volvo may talk up the V60 as being sporting and dynamic, but in reality it's a comfortable cruiser. Up front, the Swedish firm's knack of making armchairs that are both soft and supportive continues. However, the low-slung coupe-like roof restricts headroom, and anyone over 6 foot tall will feel cramped. Polestar differences. By far the biggest detriment to comfort is the race-orientated Öhlins dampers and suspension, with springs 80% stiffer than those found on the regular V60 T6. The dampers actually perform their job very well, coping with larger lumps and bumps particularly impressively and controlling the body in one swift movement. However, the springs are far too stiff for typical British roads, but fine for track, and you can feel every single small imperfection under the huge 20-inch wheels and low-profile tires. Even the louder exhaust doesn't intrude into proceedings, and the V60 Polestar remains quiet and refined even at motorway speeds. And if you want to drown out the extra tire or even more, the excellent stereo system will happily and easily do that for you. Regardless of speed or stereo volume, there's little wind noise to be detected. The Swedish race engineers have reworked the gearbox software to offer harder and faster shifts, but it's still noticeably slower than the fastest dual-clutch automatics found in some rivals. At least that means when left to its own devices, on a gentle throttle especially, it does a decent job of slurring ratios and keeping forward momentum smooth and unhurried. The Volvo V60 is available in 5 trim levels: Business Edition, Say Lux, R-Design and R-Design Lux. All come well equipped with city safety technology, a system that brakes the car if it thinks a front-end impact is imminent, LED daytime running lights, alloy wheels, traction control and rear parking sensors as standard. Standard Volvo V60 Equipment Business Edition models are aimed at company car drivers and come with extras to make their lives easier, such as climate control, cruise control, a DAB digital radio, integrated satellite navigation with 7-inch color screen and Bluetooth hands-free phone integration. Say specification includes rain-sensing wipers, auto-folding door mirrors with ground lights, integrated grocery bag holder, 17-inch alloy wheels and chrome window surrounds. Say Lux builds on this with leather seats, special TFT crystal driver display, electric driver's seat with memory function, and active bending xenon headlights with washers. The sporty R-Design trim level offers 18-inch alloy wheels, uprated chassis, front sports seats, aluminium interior trim and special leather steering wheel. R-Design Lux includes active bending xenon headlights with headlamp cleaning, power, folding door mirrors with ground lights, rain-sensing wipers and rear parking sensors. Pre-2013 registered cars were badged S, Say and Say Plus. Standard features included city safety, climate control, cruise control, floor mats, 5-inch color screen, steering wheel mounted audio controls, leather steering wheel and gear knob and 16-inch alloys. The flagship Say Plus added electric front seats with memory, leather upholstery, adaptive cornering headlights and an auto headlamp cleaning function as standard. Optional Volvo V60 accessories. Key options on the Volvo V60 include a £700 security pack which consists of keyless entry, laminated side windows and water repellent front side windows. The winter accessory pack costs £355 and brings snow socks, rubber interior, floor mats, reversible cargo mat and mud flaps. The £525 winter pack adds heated front seats, headlight washers, a heated front windscreen and heated washer nozzles. Volvo also offers a Polestar Performance Pack which upgrades the D5 engine to 230 bhp, and the T6 unit to 329 bhp. Included in the £2,495 package are 18-inch alloy wheels, Blackwing mirror covers and Polestar decals. However, if you just want the extra power, this can be bought separately for £815. Safety kit on the V60 is high. The V60 features pedestrian detection that brakes the car automatically if a person walks out in front the car's direction of travel. There's also city safety. The city safety automatically brakes if the driver fails to react when the vehicle in front slows down or stops, or if the driver is driving too fast towards a stationary object. The system can reduce or even avoid low-speed rear-end impacts at speeds of up to 18 miles per hour. Other standard safety features include rollover protection system, curtain airbags and side impact protection system. Lane departure warning, blind spot information and active xenon lights are also available on the V60. All that kit contributes to a 5-star Euro NCAP score. The plug-in hybrid variant of the V60 scores 5 stars for safety too, despite weighing 350 kilograms more than its conventional engine counterpart. It may not be called an estate car, but the V60 comes with plenty of flexibility. It has load capacity of 430 litres with rear seats in place, and this expands to 1,241 when the seats are folded. Unfortunately, the boot is shallow, making it smaller than the majority of rivals. Have a glance at the Octavia estate and you'll see that it is miles ahead in the space race, as it has a capacity of 580 litres, seats in place, and 1,620 litres of load room with the seats folded. However, the sports wagon does have greater flexibility because the passenger seats fold flat to allow for loading and unloading of awkward items. The folding passenger seat comes as standard, a first in this sector.